Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on the video, man. It means a lot if you guys keep clicking. If you guys keep clicking, I'll keep making. And today I thought, you know what? We need to do a refresh. The content's getting kind of monotonous, and so you know what? I've done the 41 early cast assessment. I've done the 41 cast assessment a few days ago where we just talked about it on a podcast. And now I think it's over. I think a cast deep dive is definitely overdue, and I feel like we need to go into the cast in depth, very in depth. So I'm good. I'm going to go through each person on this cast individually. I'm going to give them about 2 to 3 minutes of focus. Nothing about the game, nothing about a boot order prediction or a winner pick. It's just simply looking at the cast as individual people. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It means a lot that you guys keep clicking. If you guys keep clicking, I will keep making these videos. 72% of you guys are watching this video. Let's change that. It's easy and it's free. Thank you, Skylander, for making my thumbnails. And if that's it, let's get right into this video. So the first person that we have is Sydney Seagal. So Sydney is 26, from Los Angeles, currently in Brooklyn. Blah blah blah. She said that she likes running, knitting, crocheting, and soccer. So very different. Half of those are for young, young 20-year-olds, and half of those are for 78-year-old women. So I mean, listen, I mean, I'm not throwing shade, but Sydney's got some odd hobbies. Let's just say that. Three words to describe you: confident, charismatic, and empathetic. I like the empathetic one because when someone's down in the game, like someone's crying, because every scene that happens where somebody breaks down for some reason, you want to be there to pat, a shoulder on the back, and it adds this sense of like, damn, like even when the game is still going on, this person is still like behind my back emotionally, which is super comforting. What's the accomplishment that you're most proud of? Being the California state champion in cross country, which is very impressive because it's really hard to be a California state champion in cross country. From what I know, I mean, it's the biggest state in the entire country. So very impressive. What is something we would never know about looking at you? I speak Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, and some French. So she speaks French, Italian, Portuguese, and oh my god, in Spanish. I maybe would have guessed Spanish, but the other three are impressive. I'm taking Spanish in school, and I can barely learn that. So the fact that she can speak all those fluently is very impressive. Who's your hero and why? My father, and she goes into a spiel about how he's super important to her, which is super awesome. Which past survivor will you play the game like Natalie White? She was able to assess her place in the tribe and in her alliance while consciously nursing Russell's ego. Her social awareness is something I admire. I like the last sentence of that where she says that her social awareness is something that she admires. I do not like the first half because, of course, Natalie White wins the game. But Natalie White was also next to Russell, arguably one of the biggest jury goats in Survivor history. So the idea that she would bank on there being a Russell on her season, which happens like once every 10 seasons, no, not something that you want to be banking on and putting your game on. But I like the last sentence about having social awareness. What do you believe that, or why do you believe that you can win Survivor? She said, I have the essential social skills and social awareness. I'm athletic, but not some 6'2" buff dude who will be threatening. I'm not a creature of habit and can adapt to any situation. Having watched Survivor, I have the benefit of hindsight, and I think I have a high Survivor IQ. I play to win. I love that last sentence. People who play to get a return. People who play to look good on TV. People who play for the experience. I hate all that. Play to win the game one time, and who cares about a return? Who cares about any of that? As a viewer, I just want to see a good game. I don't want to see someone playing so they can come back in the next second chances or something like that. That's just stupid. It's just stupid, and that's why people like Wendy who are just playing for the CM money, or people like a Colby who's just there for the experience, or like stuff like that. I have no respect for that type of play because it's a waste of my time to watch it. And so why am I watching it if you're gonna play like you want to come back, or like you're not trying to play the game, or that you're trying to look good on TV? It's just stupid. It's just stupid. Okay, moving on to the next person. I have Danny McCray. Danny McCray. We all love Danny, right? Here around Survivor Spencer. At least I do. He is my winner pick at the moment. I'm trying not to change it as the cast things come out. I made this pick way back. I'd say like now it's like 2 months ago. I made it way back, and I'm trying to stick by it. Even though he said some questionable stuff, I still think that if he can use strategy, he can be decent in strategy, and because he's going to win some challenges post merge, and he's probably going to get to post merge because he's such a big asset in the pre merge. Then he has a real shot. But yeah, sorry, no game talk. Only people. So age 33, Houston, Texas. Woohoo! Go Cowboys. Frisco, Texas. Go Cowboys again. Occupation ex Cowboys player. Let's go Cowboys. Okay, sorry. Hobbies: competing, traveling, and cooking. That's interesting. I mean, traveling obviously because he traveled to different teams and stuff like that for football. Competing because he literally competed in the National Football League, the most competitive league in America. And then cooking is interesting, but I guess when you're traveling so much, you kind of have to learn how to cook. It's either that or you go out and eat McDonald's every day, which obviously isn't that healthy. 3 words to describe you: competitive, charismatic, and optimistic. I like all of these. I mean, optimistic, I'm not a huge fan of just because people who are optimistic can sometimes be oblivious to what's going on around them. But I love the charismatic, like someone like Wendell, very charismatic. So if he can try and copy that strategy, then that's definitely something that would be impressive. And then competitive, obviously, one of the most important things in Survivor is to be in the game. You have your Courtney Yateses and your gens from Worlds Apart. It's one of those things where you like they're not invested in the game. Like they're on the TV show and they're not going to quit, but they are not at all invested in the game and they don't care when they're voted out. I hate that. Give me people who will literally fight, claw, and scratch just to stay in the game. I want everybody on the cast to at least be that. I know everyone on the cast can't be a super fan because it would be very crazy and kind of just unrelatable if everyone was just a game bot. But at least make everyone want to win the game, and I think this guy really does want to win the game. Pet peeve: lying, not being on time, and lack of accountability. Yeah, and on top of that, he goes into having like lack of awareness for people's time is really annoying. So yeah, it's one of those things where I'm not a big fan of this answer because it's literally like a pillar of the game right now. In the 30s is lying, and so to see that he will get angry if somebody starts lying, he's gonna get angry a lot if he gets far in the game, or he's just gonna have to vote every single person out who lies, which is like kind of impossible. Or everyone's just gonna have to do a really good job of lying. He said that he has a lack of awareness. Sorry. He said that he hates lack of awareness and consideration for people's time and space. So he doesn't. So he likes his personal space, which I can get that. That's not going to directly hinder his game in any way unless you're playing with Dan Spilo. I mean, yeah. But crash. Sorry. Um, yeah. So and then he says lack of awareness and consideration for people's time. So he wants to be respected in a way in which people like consider, okay, is this gonna benefit Danny before I do it? He doesn't want people to just like take his time and space for granted, which is okay. But sometimes people are going to take advantage of you in the game, and you have to and instead of crying about it, you kind of have to get up and get over it. And so I am kind of worried about that because that's the like a lot of things he doesn't like are pillar of the game. So he's gonna get frustrated and quit, or is he gonna get frustrated and I don't know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What is the accomplishment that you're most proud of? Completing my MBA, basically. I'm not even going to read that. It's kind of not applicable to what we're talking about. What is something that we would never know from looking at you? You would never know that I often achieve success because of my fear. My fear of letting the people I love down, letting down people that took a chance on me is the vision that I used to thrive in competitive situations. Very similar to Adam Sandler in the movie The Waterboy. So I like this answer because when people's driving force is like, oh, I do it because I really want the money, or I do it because I'm a big fan of the show, that can crack. The show and the money are never more important than something like family or something like a literal life, like online or something like that. And so for him to say that he treats that to make him do things, he has a fear that of disappointing his family. That is such a big thing because that means that he will never quit, and he will go as hard as he can because he's not just want to impress his family. He's afraid not to impress his family. He expects to impress his family, which is exactly the mindset that you want going into it. Who's your hero? My mom. She worked a bunch of jobs. Yeah. So it's again just sweet stuff. Which past survivor will you play the game like? Ben Boom Drebergen. Wow. One big move king. I figured that I would be seen as a strong physical player, and so I would eventually become a big target. Though when Ben was able to outwork everyone on the tribe and do what he needed to do in order to survive was truly admirable. It's the back against the wall mentality that I admire. So yeah, either he's only seen that season, or like a few seasons in the 30, like 30 is like maybe like season 34, 35, 36, which would be a really, really sad stretch to watch. But yeah, so yeah, either that or he just really wants to be an underdog and is totally cool like playing from the bottom, which is not the game plan that you want going in. No one wants to go in and play like Rick Devens. He voted out day 3, come back, be the target for every single vote and idle and win challenges all the way to the end. That's just not like a game you want to go in expecting to play. That's a game that you need to be willing to play, but only at last resort. And so I don't like that he's going in with that Ben bomb mentality. That's not the mentality you want. You want to play like Jeremy, who's in control the entire time. Nobody knows it. Like that's in my opinion, Jeremy doesn't play the perfect game, but he gives a great example on like how to play the game as a big physical threat. Like Jeremy could have easily had to bend bomb his way to the end, but because he played so dominantly socially, he never actually, and that's why his game is so good. And so now let's go to the next person, the next person on this 41 cast of 18 people. I think we're 3 people in. We got a long podcast ahead of us. So I think for this one we have Liana Wallace. So this is one of those ones that I actually haven't seen a lot on Liana. She hasn't been really focused on. She seems like she's kind of flying under the radar post game. Obviously, Evie had a big thing where she said she hated men, so now everyone's like paying attention to her. Danny's like the big like he's like the guy from the NFL this season because there's always like someone that's like semi popular before the season starts. Everyone loves Ricard just because he seems like an amazing person. The country guy Brad. He seems really cool and like everyone has to think, but like Anna's just kind of blending in. It's kind of just like normal. And that's actually pretty good for her. But she needs to play an aggressive game if she's going to play that strategy because people are always like I'm going to go under the radar and play like a game like Danny. Sorry, a game like Danny. Jesus Christ. Yeah, and that just doesn't work. I mean, it works when you have someone at the end who the jury like really hates, and also it works when you play in season 11 when the juries are a lot more bitter. But nowadays, when the juries have no problem voting for like a Tony, type of figure. You can't just play under the radar and just get to the end and win the game because you didn't play as harsh as everybody else. That's not how it works. So she needs to come out and play super aggressive. Age 20, which by the way, there are 3 to 20-year-olds in the season: her, Xander, and Jairus. And so she's one of the 3. Hopefully she'll have a good connection on her tribe with. I believe she has Xander on her tribe, so hopefully her and Xander can link up. From Evanstown, Illinois, living in Washington, D.C., college student. She likes dancing, running, and writing poetry, which is interesting. I don't know if she's a slam poet or something like that. But I'm interested to see if writing poetry can allow her to either calm herself or figure out like how to say things because it's obviously like an art of words. So I mean, it's interesting. 3 words to describe yourself: adventurous, loving, and outspoken. I don't like any of these words, honestly. Adventurous, that's for the first season. You want to go for the adventure. The second one, I mean, loving is cool. I mean, I guess I don't really hate the loving, but it's not really going to help you. Like it's great for like forming like a one close bond, but you can't love everybody in the game. You know what I mean? And then the last one, outspoken, that's that Jatia mindset. I'm not trying to have somebody Jatia their way out the game, and I'm talking good about them. So yeah, I do have to knock her for those 3 words. Pet peeves. I hate when people chew with their mouth open. This is now 3 people that have said that they hate bodily functions of some sort. There's got to be someone in the pregame who just is like just farting and burping and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. They all seem to really hate it. What is the accomplishment that you're most proud of? I'm most proud of being invited to perform my spoken word for Congressman John Lewis during a fundraiser for nonprofit or organizations in my community. So, okay, so if she's spoken word poetry, so does that mean that she she's a slam poet, or does that just mean that she spoke the poetry out loud? Somebody tell me in the comments because I'm uncultured. Um, what is something that we would never know about looking at you? Looking at me, you would never know that I spent a portion of my childhood in Tokyo and Singapore. Wow, that's interesting. So she has that experience with other cultures, and maybe she can connect with some people on her tribe that would be more kind of out of the box people or different because she's been with different cultures. Who's your hero? Missy Copeland, the first female African American dancer to be promoted to principal. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I'm not gonna read the paragraph. But yeah, I mean, that's cool. That's pretty cool. Which past survivor would you like to play a game like? I would hope play the game most like Tony Vlachos. Interesting, because they are the most different people. But as far as looks go, uh, definitely, and as far as personality, it seems to go. I bet that'd be awesome if we got a female Tony. That'd be fantastic. But I believe we haven't got one female like mafioso archetype, and by that I mean like your Boston Robs, your Tony Vlachos, your War Dog, your Joe Mena's type of like our archetype. I don't believe we've had one yet. So I mean I'd be totally fine with her being the first one. I'm really interested to see how like mafioso female who just does not care. But who also plays a good game, because Cass is always like a female could never play like Tony because the jury hates females and like blah blah blah. But like no female's ever actually done it. So like I would be so interested to see if she could play like Tony and also manage the jury at least well enough, like Tony did. If she could somehow pull it off, that'd be super cool. Let me see, blah, blah, blah. And then talks about how Tony's a player that minimize risks and stuff like that. Well, why do you believe that you can win Survivor? I believe I can be the final Survivor because too often women of color are overlooked and undervalued. Whether that's my business class is down white. Okay, Jesus Christ, I'm gonna skip over this one. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I'm mixed on this one. I like her answer about like who she would play like based off just like pure entertainment value, but she seems to have some similar thoughts as Evie, but definitely not as severe. At least she didn't say she hates an entire gender, so that's good. The next person that we are going to be talking about is Mr. Brad Reese, our favorite, the country boy. This is the one that everyone was like, "Oh, I can't wait to see this." He's gonna be like Keith Neal or something like that. So he's age 50, which is one of the oldest on this cast. I think only Trish, or is it Heather? I think is the older than him. No, I think Trish is 48. I think Heather's like 52 or something like that. Brad is from Shawnee, Wyoming. Current residence, sorry, current residence, Shawnee, Wyoming again. Occupation rancher. Hobbies are hunting, fishing, helping others pursue their passion, and achieving their dreams. Wow, this guy already seems like the best human being I could ever find in my entire life. Three words to describe you: spontaneous, practical, patient, and then pet peeve: a lack of initiative. Okay. What are you most proud of? Like accomplishment wise, my family, I'm very proud of. My wife, 21 years. Wow, it's a long time, and 4 kids. Yeah, I'm already loving this guy as a human being, and honestly, these answers don't hurt him as a player either. I really hope this guy has some game. Like, I don't want him to just be like another Keith Nail who just gets dragged like almost to the end and gets cut because he has a good story and he may win, but he probably won't win anyway. Like, I'm not trying to see that type of thing play out again. I really hope this guy has some game, because I would love to to see like this Keith Nail archetype, but like actually play the game really hard. What is something we would never know from looking at you? I'm a private pilot and I enjoy flying. Wow. And then he said that I nearly died from a rattlesnake bite and almost been blown up by a propane tank. And I like to live my life on the edge. Wow, well, that's obviously on the edge. Jesus Christ, he almost died 8 times. Yeah, no, this guy seems like a really interesting person. Like the type of person that you don't just go on the street and find this guy. You like need to look for this guy in Wyoming, in the middle of what is it, Shawnee, Wyoming. So yeah, what is your hero? Who is your hero? Why my dad is. I work side by side. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, and he said his dad had died after 5 years of battling cancer, and he always kept a positive, generous attitude. I like the last part about like how he admires his dad for keeping a positive attitude. Players who go down this like spiral of like negativity, oh my god, my game's over. That's never good. And so for him to take from his father's death like a really positive like a positive outlook on life, that could help him in the game. Why do you believe that you can win Survivor? So I'm interested to see this one. If it's something about game, great. If it's something about something else, then I'm be very disappointed. All right, I have all the skills of a typical rancher: hard, common, hard working, common sense, but I'm completely different because of my social skills. I believe that I can build multi-dimensional alliances and win trust with most people, but with laser vision towards the end goal. So I like that. I mean, it's not perfect answer, but I definitely like that a whole lot. Um, I like the idea of him building multi-dimensional alliances. I think I think what he means by that is like onion alliances, where like he's the center. But again, onion alliances don't really get to the end anymore. Like alliances don't really get to the end anymore. It's very rare. Even like Wendell and Dom's like herd of cows didn't get to the end. So obviously, it's like I do think that like his answer is really good. I really like it, but I wanted to see because he had to talk about physically, obviously, and then he had just talk about socially there. I want to see more strategically. Like I'm willing to cut anybody at this point or something like that. And I'm just not. I didn't see it with him, but it's better than like Keith Nail's answers probably were. Next we have Erica Kaspupinen. I think that's how you say her last name. Age 32, Niagara Falls, Toronto. Occupation is communications manager. Big occupation. Definitely a really good one because obviously it's a game of communicating. Hobbies: traveling, boxing, fitness, following pop culture. Okay. 3 words to describe you: fun, fearless, and empathetic. Pet peeves: ignorance, and men in ill-fitting jeans. You know what? I can agree with that. This is the first time that someone's had men in their pet peeves, and I agree with it. Listen, guys, if you get jeans, get them slim. Not skinny jeans, but slim jeans. And definitely not those mom jeans from the 70s. Get those slim jeans. Comment down below what jeans are best for you. If you got this far in the video. Okay. And then the part I glossed over, she said ignorance. I don't like that answer just because people are going to be dumb in the game because they don't just cast everyone who's a brainiac. Not everyone's going to be Christian, and so for her to say that, I'm worried that she's going to like someone's going to like disagree with her, and then she's going to be like, oh my god, you're so ignorant, like oh my god, and she's gonna just have a fiery like type of outburst instead of just being like I disagree with you, let's talk about it. And so that is kind of worrying. Yeah, yep, her accomplishments, blah blah blah. What is something that we would never know about looking at you? People are always surprised by how smart and articulate I am. I'm quite smart and figure out things quickly. I'm also quick witted, and those who get it are pleasantly surprised. Then those who don't have no clue what they're missing. People always also don't believe I'm 5 feet tall because my vibes make me seem 5'3". That's a fun last sentence. I think that like quirky, like funny, but like not like telling a joke, not like stand up type of funny, but like just like quirky, like ha ha ha, like a smile. It brings a smile to somebody's face when that could be like the difference between that person staying with you or going over, and so that's always really good. Who's your hero and why? My grandma. Yeah, on and on. Which past survivor would you play the game like? Brenda on the outside, Todd on the underneath. Brenda is physically strong, socially aware, and not afraid to show her teeth. Todd is my all-time favorite player. I can channel his ability to influence others and always be strategically in control of the game and prepare myself to pitch in an amazing final jury performance. Why do you believe that you can win Survivor? I've been manipulative since before I knew what manipulation was. I relentlessly pursue my dreams. The great thing is that nobody else would expect it because of my youthful face and small stature. And I can make it to the end and am confident in my ability to advocate for myself at final tribal. So yeah, so I'm gonna be honest, guys. I think this girl has no chance of winning. I think she's just gonna fall victim to she's gonna get complacent in her spot in the tribe, and there's gonna be like 4 people in like the final 7 who can beat her, and she's not gonna have the power to get all 4 of them out before the end. Final 3. I feel like in the end, there's just gonna be people who can beat her always in the game, no matter who like she brings to the end. And I feel like she's just not gonna play that aggressive a game. Honestly, I mean, she talks about having a great final tribal a lot, but you need to have a great game as well. And I just don't see that happening. Okay, so the next person that we are looking at on this 41, still very good cast so far, is Jairus Robinson. I think everybody loves Jairus. I think definitely Jairus is everybody's favorite 20-year-old. He seems to be such a gigantic fan, which is so cool to see someone like someone coming from my direct background, not as like a gender erasure. I'm talking about like as a direct like Survivor fan. Like he even mentioned the literal Survivor specialist in his interview with EW pregame. Like it's crazy. Like for it to come full circle that like some of us can actually get on the show, which is absolutely so cool. He hometown Oklahoma City. He still lives there. College student. Hobbies, obviously, survivor, working with kids and slash pediatric nursing, athletics, jujitsu, running, and dance. Jesus Christ, this guy is already stacked on life. I think this guy is just living a different. He's built different. Three words to describe him: high energy. That's actually two. No, I'm just kidding. Charming and characteristic. Or sorry, charming and charismatic. Wow, I can't spell, guys. And so yeah, I think these are good words. I think it's showing that he's going to be a super big social threat, like not like a big social threat like that like gets dragged in because he has no strategical game, but I think that I think Jairus generally has a chance to win the game. Like Erica, I think has zero chance of winning the game. I think Jairus has a decent shot at it, because of the fact that he actually is coming out there playing like playing really hard. He's a super fan like us. He's coming out to play high energy, and then he's also charming and charismatic, which is great for the social game. I really like this. Pet peeves. I really hate bullies. What's the accomplishment that you're most proud of? I'm so proud to be a two-time state track champion because it's the culmination of 7 years of an absolute passion. Yep, yep. So again, it just shows that he's able to persevere through these obstacles to get exactly what he wants, and that accomplishment. What is something we would never know about by looking at you? When people first meet me, they always assume I'm goofy and go with the flow. Bro, who's here to make you laugh? But I'm also a lot smarter than people think until they see my grades or hear me speak in front of a crowd. I like that. I suffer from this very, very similar in school. I'm always a really, really goofy kid, this and that, and then I'll show people my PSAT scores, and they're like, "What?" And then I realize, and I tell them like, "Yeah, just because I seem like something doesn't mean I'm always like that." And so I can definitely relate to Jairus's issue there, and yeah, for sure. Who is your hero and why? Every now and then I volunteer at the Children's Hospital because pediatric nursing is what I want to do with the rest of my life. Those kids are my heroes. Yeah, that's so sweet. I mean, wow, like that's a good person. Like just straight up, that's a decent person. Like he didn't put a political person, Evie. He didn't put like some musician. Like he put the pediatric kids who he works with. That is so sweet. Which past survivor will you play the game with? I would love to play the game uh, in a culmination of Parvati, Fabio, and Jeremy Collins. Interesting bunch. I don't like the Fabio one, but I understand where he's probably gonna go with it. He's probably gonna say something like, "Well, I want to blend in like Fabio did," or something like that. Parvati, it's interesting. Parvati's game isn't gonna win in 2021, but maybe he'll take like part of her charm. But yeah, like playing like Parvati will never work now because Parvati did it one time. And Jeremy Collins' game can win right now, and it's probably the best strat right now if you're like a big guy who's muscular. Now Jairus isn't very muscular or big. I think that Jeremy's game is honestly the most repeatable game out of anybody's game in the 30s. And I genuinely think that if this guy plays like Jeremy, he has a really, really good shot of winning. That's who I want Danny to play like is Jeremy. He says, "Why do you believe that you can win Survivor? I believe there are numerous aspects to Survivor. You'll drive yourself mad trying to do one of them perfectly. If you can do everything well enough, I know I can win." And then he goes on to talk about that. And he ends it with, "I had that it factor that some people just have. I think JT had it, and Kim Spradlin had it too, and now I have it." I love that. Like going in with that confidence to be like, I just have it. Whatever it is, like whatever you need to just completely dominate a season, I have it. Now, obviously, he's not going to play a JT or Kim Stradling game. I would really hope not, because that'd be a very boring season because of the fact that this cast is so high caliber strategically. But I love the idea of him going in thinking that, because that will lead to really, really good TV of him playing a lot more aggressively for sure. Next, we have your favorite and mine, Evie Jagoda. So for those of you who may be new viewers to the channel, we don't like Evie. So Evie, I'll read her bio, and I think you'll figure it out. Age 28, from Westchester, New York. Arlington, Mass is where she lives now. PDH student, cooking, biking, being in nature, hiking, camping, swimming in ponds. 3 words to describe you: extroverted, enthusiastic, smart. Pet peeves: men. Not all men, but I can't stand machismo and mansplainers. Anything like that drives me insane. In grad school, I deal with a lot of know-it-all male energy, and it's a lot. Back when I dated a guy, because we were on a trip in Budapest and he kept pronouncing it in Budapest, it was a really big turnoff. I broke up with him after 30 minutes of getting back from the trip. Do you understand why we hate her yet? Yeah, and then she goes on to say that she was on a podcast and that she passed for straight as 23 years for 23 years. And that she's super confident, and her hero is Alexandria Ortez, or her hero is AOC. If you don't know who AOC is, that's fine. And yeah, she basically just goes on to make her entire thing about politics, which is just I mean, terrible. I want politics far, far out of the game. Both sides of politics, I want them gone. This is a game. It's not a microcosm of shit. I want that out of there, so far away. She said, "What Survivor player would we put like most like in the game?" I think the strategy that would work best for me is staying close to the center of power, but never directly perceived as the one making the calls. For example, Todd at the beginning of China putting Aaron as the leader of his tribe. So another Todd person like who likes Todd. She also likes Natalie and San Juan del Sur. She thinks that Jeremy. Yeah, and then she likes that she had pretended that Jeremy was like the number one, and then also let like presented that John Mish was also in charge. And then she ultimately struck at the right time and pulled off the moves that she needed to make. She also likes JT and Kim. And why do you believe you can win Survivor? I really think that I have the right combination of skills to win the game. I'm really extremely smart and strategic, and I know the game very well, and will constantly be thinking of how to put myself in the best position to win. She goes on to say a bunch of stuff. Yeah, we don't like Evie in this channel. I think you know why. Let's move on to the next one. Jesus Christ. I just want to get far, far away from that. And back to great amazing human beings. We have Rickard, and Rickard is so amazing. So I've also done a video on him on my channel, and so you can go to check that out. It should be in my recent videos, depending on when you're watching this. And so yeah, I've already kind of looked through this, but I'll skim through it. He's 31. He currently lives in Washington State. He's a flight attendant. He does violin running in Winter Guard or whatever that is. He's hopeful, positive, funny. He doesn't like being asked a question and then the answer being ignored. His accomplishment he's most proud of is that he changed his career when he was unhappy. Uh, Someone would never know that he's deaf, and he focuses heavily on reading lips, and he's fluent in ASL. His hero is his husband Andy, which is super sweet. Past survivor that you want to play the game like is Aubrey Bracco. Why do you believe that you can win Survivor? The ability to show kindness, but also not take certain attacks and situations seriously feels like most players' downfall. I love this. That is such a good answer. So many players cannot put their ego aside. Everything has to be like, oh my god, that's so. Oh my god, like that's so. No, just get over it. Like it's a game for $1 million. Put your ego aside and calm down. And I love that he's willing to put certain attacks because people are always going to attack you and be a-holes to you. That's just how the world works. And so the idea that he could put those attacks aside in order to not create his own downfall is super cool. He then finishes with it that players succumb to the emotions and get voted out. I have awareness of my being and will also be very observant of other players and loyal, but not to a fault. I love that last sentence, and I mean overall, Ricard is just such a great person. So that wraps it up for the first part of the series. I have decided to split this up into 2 parts because if I dropped it in one, it would be an hour-long podcast. So instead, we're going to do 2 half-an-hours. The second half should be coming out the day after this is released. Have fun, and please continue to like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. It's the most important thing. Thank you guys for continuously supporting me, continuously clicking my videos. And if you guys continue to do so, I will continue to make this daily content leading up to Survivor 41, September 22nd. We're almost there.